when it feels like they kind of want to be skewed towards the late game.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know where a lot of their... I guess, like, their synergy is kind of built around some of the knockups that they've been able to pick up, but a lot of this, like, I mean, Wheelish, maybe when you see Marcus going over and ganking Creed, there's potential for an ult combo, and maybe over there in the duo lane, but...
Go look for something.
What's nice, and maybe just slow-paced all in all, the junglers haven't been as aggressive as they could be. I mean, this is the first time I've seen any of them really step past that 50-yard line, and now it's Fails going in.
Yeah, Fails just walks right past Marcus, start looking for damage on the Chekio, and Marcus sends him running easily. Pretty Prime over to the sides, like, man, I don't have much mana. You're kinda just dead here. And that's such a head-scratcher for me there, Gormizer. Just odd decision-making. Your engages are so much better, like, monumentally better with it as She's gonna ult to the sky. Finally, the Papis are the ones looking to try and take a fight. Streakup responds by using the beats early on. Good damage for and the Blink Cataclysm from Draco Marino means that Streakup is still in trouble, but they don't have the last bit of damage. A good stun from Hazer means that Fails can show up and find the kill. Marcus is the one that drops, and Fails wants a bit more action with the Volcanic Lightning. Doesn't have that first ability available, so Warchi gets to slowly walk away as Cold Llamas find their kill.
Man, if he had one more cone auto there for Fails, he could have hit that last minion and potentially gotten the last little bit of damage, but unfortunately you only get 3 of them. That's how he got him that low in the first place. I love the way Streakup replies to that, but mainly the team makes that rotation to come in. Even now, it's starting to affect them all over the map.
Like, what's going on, dude? I don't know.
And it's going to be interesting to see how, like, Pretty Prime tackles that. Like you said, like going for maybe some flat pen here early on in this Gear of Desolation, but then some percentage, it's going to affect these tanks.
Streakup is the target of this gank. Marcus finds the very first kill, but Fails has the turnaround damage. Hazer is the one that actually puts it to bed with the underhand tactics. Fails knows that he's stuck. He has to try and trade, but there is no way out. Draco Mariano with the basic attacks gets the kill, and now Hazer is stuck in between 3. Somehow a Geb is now 2-0-2 with a double kill 10 minutes into the game.
So if you like, Draco Mariano is still kind of moving on the map in a way that seems that they want to fight. In fact, Orchi's going to go in on Maniac. Normally you would expect it to be the other way around, but that forces the shield out of Draco Mariano.
It's just late from them. They might still be able to get good pressure, though, onto Prime Chekio, as well as Marcus were able to get back there to the back line and put some really good pressure on him. A nice Strife lands that sets up for the charge prey. Maniac has to use beads, which he has as his second relic. It does allow him to escape, but there's the Blink Cataclysm that hits a couple more members, all creating space.
He can't get away forever. Streakup actually plays that one kind of slow and low behind. I'm surprised to see them maybe fall back that hard.
Well, it turns out they were right, because here come the Cavalry. Great ultimate from Marcus, catches Streakup. He has the beads. Cataclysm gets him the second that CC duration is down, and Streakup never got to play Smite. Marcus is the one that gets the kill credit for it, and the tier 1 tower in left will fall. And this was my concern, Gore. Eventually, if you just do nothing, you're trying to fight through all this control from the Papis.
That's just, imagine that you're waiting, you use your beads, your Aegis, and you still just get CC'd to death. And that's the unfortunate scenario there for Streakup. And honestly, with this build, the minute that Warchi rotates in, Maniac, Hazer, they're not going to be able to withstand the damage. Honestly, towers aren't going to withstand the damage he's going to be able to put out. He's not necessarily the crit machine that maybe Streakup is going for and maybe popping off what you want out of a mage. And honestly, it's not Pretty Prime that I'm looking at as being that secure objective taker. It really is Maniac. I think that boulder coming down from Hercules is enough to be able to kind of simulate something that you expect maybe out of a Kraken or something else. It can steal and it can confirm.
Draco Mariano has been pulled back in. Gotta be careful pulling the Geb, though. You don't want to give him a good Cataclysm. Doesn't show up there, as Fails has made his way to the backline. Now it's Hazer's turn, but Fails pays for it handily. Streakups does drop the Suns, but that's really only onto Creed, and he lives through it. There's the Raijin ultimate, really only onto Creed, and he lives through it. Big Strife over the wall from Chekio has helped this fight turn even further for the Papis. Marcus looking for a wraparound, so Creed goes in first to make some space. The tail whip is there for the knockup too, but still, the Papis can't quite close the distance.
The Blink charge spray just to close the gap, and now they're chasing him down. Warchi melts tanks, and that's what he's doing.
Marcus makes it over that wall too. He jumps behind the purple buff pit, and he's able to get back there to blow up Cold Llamas. And I'm sorry, man, it's gonna be hard to beat this draft from the Papis if you drop the Suns and the Taiko drums onto Creed and he lives through it.
So everybody on the Papis had a low health bar, except for one guy through that fight. Now everybody's charged back up. They back to the fountain. Warchi, his health bar didn't drop. No one hit him with anything. I mean, this guy just sat in the back line and did much like what he's doing right now to the Fire Giant. Throw out those autos. He's gone for, again, just a pure pin build. Now you give him the potential to be with his team. It doesn't matter. In fact, he doesn't even need to be here. Like you said, he could just maybe put pressure on mid, ult over if they really need it.
Wow, that's what he's going to do. He's going to line up in mid again and dare someone to come stop him, and no one can do it. Maniac has been caught in the CC chain. It costs him 70% of his health bar. Prime just goes for the raw ultimate. He hits a couple of them on to Creed. The Suns are there too, but everyone on the Papis just kind of backs up. Cataclysm lands. Hazer gets pulled back in with a shockwave and never gets a chance to touch the ground. Draco Mariano gets his 4th kill of the game.
Yeah, there's these little yellow numbers that are going to pop up whenever these tanks get plucked, and those are going to be the extra damage that Chin Size is going to be doing here. For Warchi, you're going to see their health bars just get depleted there. And, I mean, I saw a couple of crit numbers pop up, I'm assuming from Streak Up, trying to get some damage out. But look at the health bars on one side versus the health bars on the other. 2 are dead, everyone's almost full. I think Draco Mariano taking the most, and that's because he's tanking a Phoenix. This is solid for the Papis.
Yeah, the Papis should be able to win this game at this point, right? I mean, the Titan now down to half HP. Fails goes to the back line, but as has been the case all game long, it's proving difficult for him once he makes it back there. I mean, this one feels to me, Gormizer, like a game that the Papis were winning from kind of from the beginning of the game, from the 7-8 minute mark when Cold Llamas didn't show any aggression.
And honestly, it's just because the Papis have been dictating the fights. Everything they've done, even this fight, has been something that they've said, this is how it's gonna shake out, Cold Llamas. Like, we're not gonna let you choose the engagements that are gonna be fun for you. We're going to be able to follow it up. It's led to, you know, not just the Titan kill, but I mean, some of the Phoenixes, the Fire Giants, some of the Furies that they were able to jungle for Cold Llamas to just pop off across the map, or else it's just gonna fall apart.
It certainly could, but we are ready now here, Gore, to hop into the games. Let's start up number 2. We saw the draft round out. Marcus picking up the Bakasura. And I feel like we don't see that many of these sort of... He was great for them, but I like this shift in mentality for the Llamas already, Gore. It feels like they're playing more aggressive. Now they're lining up for purple buff invade. Fails will be here for this as well. The push catches Fortune, we know, doesn't have the beads. Does use the knock-up and escapes with an extra bit of shell to keep him alive, but Streak Up finds the damage over the wall. Must have been the Heavenly Banner, so they find First Blood, but they still want more. Draco able to squeeze his way to the Tier 1, and he will survive.
It's a weird fight where your Tier 1 is safer for you than your Tier 2, and it is that matched by fails almost 100% of the time somewhere, whether it's helping a gank out in the solo lane, much like they are kind of right now, or whether it's trying to match something over in the duo lane, like fighting the opposite sides, or opposite corners of the ring here that is the Southwest map. But there's the life of the party. They're looking to lock down fails.
They are. They would have liked to try and get to Maniac if they could have, but he wasn't there, so they'll take this blue instead. Fails actually taking a good bit of damage from this too, as Maniac has now leveled up the ultimate. I wonder if he didn't take it at 5, because I just saw the diamond come through as Hazer takes a ton of damage, does get hit by that last bit of damage. Chekio has just about everything on the mark, and Hazer cannot escape.
Any semblance of control this game, and even now, Maniac's caught between, well, 2 towers and a Baron. It's just these awkward scenarios they keep finding themselves in, where it's like, the small caveat you finally got yourself isn't going to win you the game.
So eventually Maniac does acquiesce and chooses to ult. They drop the Dharmic Pillars, well placed, and Maniac pays for it. You were just mentioning how versatile that ultimate can be, and well placed from...
But stripping it away from the Papis is actually maybe the more important factor of it. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of gold, but they don't get that control.
Maniac has to ult right this second, and it is going to be in time. He should be out of range if he uses all 3 charges to disengage as well. It looks like that will be the call, though his Tier 1 tower will not be as safe. Fails is over here to try and help out, but Marcus is doing it again. Is forcing it. You're right. Draco Marino's hunting him down. A man on a mission gets the kill on the Maniac. The Tier 1 tower comes down, now fails. Silence. It becomes food for Marcus. Hazer blinks in and does find a good push. Marcus is taking a ton of extra damage, but in comes Chekio to try and even up the numbers. Prime gets out of there at the tail end, but only one little bit of the ultimate from Chekio hits, so Pretty Prime will survive.
Imagine using the World Serpent. You're under Tier 2 and you're like, man, to win this fight.
It is going to hamstring Maniac, though, in this fight, right? Not having the ultimate, he's not going to feel safe moving up. And remember, with Celestial Legion, if he takes some stray physical damage somewhere in this fight, not super common, but if he does, he'll start chipping away at those procs he's built up. So Oni Fury has been pulled. Frenzy popped by the Papis. They want this fight. Draco really wants Maniac. They zone him out, but they can't pull him. I think someone could have afforded to stay on the Fury here. Is now Creed in some trouble. Gets pulled back in towards everybody else. And the Fury's still healthy. This could be the best fight for the Papis that they've had yet. But Chekio point blank hits the Taiko drums. Marcus gobbles up Maniac, and Hazer cannot do enough on his own. I spoke too soon. It's a 3-for-1 for the Papis.
And honestly, Creed, if he's playing not a mage there, probably is still able to not only be a part of this fight, but maybe still be alive and keeping things going. But honestly, that's a worthwhile trade. You're definitely getting that Oni Fury right now. And now, unfortunately for Fails, he's locked down in the middle of 3 members as Chekio decides to just join the party at the very end of it. It feels maybe a little sloppy at the very beginning from Papis and how they want to engage on that. I think that there's maybe something to be said of a... You pop the Butcher Blades, you regurgitate onto the ground, and whoever you've decided is going to die, they're gone. They don't have much of an opportunity to fight back.
Yeah, I'm curious if he's going to be looking to try and pick that up next. Prime is low already. Great disruption, though, from Hazer. Does keep Prime alive in the backline, and Maniac wants to come in, but he gets stunned the second that he rolls up. Draco has fallen, though, which means Maniac can maybe get some value out of this World Serpent ultimate after all. Hazer doesn't find anything with that push. Instead, he finds the end of his life. That's unfortunate for the Kuzenbo, that when they might have had some momentum, he kind of gives it back. But Prime is too low HP, so is Maniac. Maybe Papis can force this down.
It really is just coming down to the difference, and it's specifically, actually, this rotation may be more important than anything. Chekio goes down, but what can Fails do for the team versus what can Marcus do for the team? Marcus isn't in the fight, and then maybe he's going to cost Creed a little bit of his life. Whereas they could still try to fight this back, but they don't have that many ults on the side of the Papis to make this work their way.
But they do have their best, like, repeat damage, right? Between the Boxer and Orchi as Maniac gets locked down with the CC from Creed, and he will end up falling.
Might get 1 kill, but it depends more on, is Pretty Prime there, Streak up there to help you follow it up.
Fire Giant in half. Creed used the life of the party, and he brings Fails down low, almost by himself. Dharmic Pillars keeps Fails trapped, and Prime has to eat a Taiko drums to the face. Fails does jump in and find a Sentinel of Zeus, but it's not as much help when you haven't built up that many procs. Draco keeps Maniac silenced, and that's enough for Chekio to get the triple. Somehow Draco is still alive through it all, too. Marcus does keep Streak Up zoned out, but Hazer wants to come in for the cleanup patrol. Can't find a kill. He does help them still. The Pyromancer, it looks like, but his life is certainly forfeit at this point, as he will go down.
Well, hey, in 20 seconds, Pretty Prime's going to be able to run out of that base as fast as he wants. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be up for many other members of the team. I guess maybe for Fails there once he respawns. And maybe here for Streak Up since he manages to get out alive. But that means the Fire Giant's going to be pretty much forfeit this time around. And even though that, and maybe find some of these fights, is built around where Hazer is and how much he can accomplish for the team.
Frenzy pop. Dharmic Pillars does catch both carries, and Streak Up was the one that was really in trouble. Chekio point blank with the Taiko drums gets 1. Creed is able to take care of Fails, and Chekio, a man on a mission, is able to find Prime. Marcus gobbles up Hazer, and just like that, I think this set is over, Gormizer. That's it for the left side Phoenix. Papis should stream into the Titan room and put this one to bed in 2.
Yeah, it comes down to just team fight ults and what they had. I think the combos from Papis maybe a little bit stronger. And again, I said it earlier,